What if the greatest breakthrough in your ministry isn't found in changing your circumstances, but in changing the way you experience them? For years, I believed that if people would change or ministry would get easier, then I'd finally have peace. But God had something much deeper in mind. In this very first episode, I'm sharing my personal journey into ministry, the unexpected struggles I faced, and how renewing my mind transformed the way I live, lead, and love ministry. If you're longing for hope, biblical encouragement, and practical tools to help you thrive, you're in the right place. Hey, friend, have you experienced loneliness, church hurt, or ministry burnout? Welcome to Thriving Pastor's Wife. I'm Susan Bilal, and I'm so glad you're here. Each week, you'll find biblical encouragement, practical tools, and mindset transformation to help you thrive in life and ministry. So grab your favorite cup of hot brew, take a deep breath, and let's take this journey together. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or simply tired of carrying the weight of ministry alone, you don't have to figure it out by yourself. Through one on one coaching, I'll help you renew your mindset, overcome the thoughts that are holding you back, and create healthy rhythms that lead to lasting change. Together, we'll develop practical, biblical strategies tailored to your unique situation. If you're ready to experience greater peace, purpose, and joy in both life and ministry, I'd love to walk alongside you. To learn more, visit susanbilal.com/coaching or click the link in the show notes below. Before I begin, I'd like to lovingly dedicate this very first episode to my late cousin Kathy, who was a pastor's wife. Long before I ever knew God would call me into ministry, Kathy helped prepare me for that journey. Once I became a pastor's wife myself, she lovingly guided me through those first few years. I am so grateful for her influence on my life and for her beautiful example of servanthood, steadfast faithfulness, and unwavering commitment to the call of God. She will always, always hold a special place in my heart. In this first episode, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my journey into ministry. For as long as I can remember, I loved God and wanted to serve Him in a meaningful way. I attended a small private Christian college, and I distinctly remember some of the young women joking that they were there to earn their MRS degree. You know what I mean. They hoped to find a husband before graduation, and many of them dreamed of becoming a pastor's wife. That was so puzzling to me because I wasn't interested in marriage at all, and I definitely didn't want to marry a pastor. I guess I imagined it wouldn't be a very glamorous or exciting life. In fact, I thought it might even be a little bit boring. So God had to work on my heart for a very long time before I surrendered and was willing to marry a pastor or anyone in ministry. And when I surrendered, he miraculously brought my husband Sam and I together. Our life together in ministry has been one incredible adventure. Some of those adventures have been exciting, others have been frightening and uncertain. There have been seasons when I felt like I was standing on a mountaintop celebrating God's goodness. And there have been seasons when I felt alone in the wilderness or walking through a deep valley. Looking back now, I can clearly see God's hand at work, behind the scenes, orchestrating His plans for our lives. I knew that ministry was a sacred calling, and honestly, I thought I was prepared for it. After all, I had spent years serving in the church. I'd volunteered in ministry. I'd served alongside my cousin Kathy and her husband, and had even lived with them for a short time after college, seeing the behind the scenes life of ministry. But little did I know, I wasn't nearly as prepared as I thought. Ministry is a lot like marriage. You can read books, listen to wise advice, and learn from other people, but nothing fully prepares you. You grow as you go. You learn through the joys and the disappointments, the victories and the valleys. The reality is, ministry is challenging. If you serve in ministry, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. There are the expectations of others, the expectations we place on ourselves, the many hats we wear, balancing family responsibilities while serving the church, working outside the home while fulfilling ministry responsibilities, feeling responsible for people, dealing with church hurt and relational conflict. And then there are seasons of deep loneliness. There are also those moments when you feel like there are some things you simply can't talk about with anyone except your husband. It can be very isolating. Over the years, I've learned something that's incredibly important. You can deeply love ministry and still struggle in ministry. Those two things can both be true. I realized during my journey that I wasn't alone. As I began talking with other pastors' wives over the years, I realized my story wasn't unique. So many women shared the very same struggles. They experienced loneliness, the feeling of ministry overload, church hurt, unrealistic expectations, comparison, and emotional and physical exhaustion. The details of our stories may be different, but so many of us are carrying the same burdens. Maybe you're listening today and thinking, Susan, that's me. I love God. I love my husband. I love the church. But if I'm honest, ministry has been hard. Friend, I want you to know something. Loving ministry and struggling in ministry can both be true at the same time. Here's what changed everything for me. A few years ago, I began discovering something that completely changed the way I experienced ministry. I couldn't always change the people around me. I couldn't always change my circumstances, but I could begin paying attention to what was happening in my own mind. God led me to a beautiful program where I truly learned what it means to renew my mind, just as we're instructed in Romans 12:2. As I began practicing biblical mindset renewal and using the practical tools I was learning, everything began to change. I started looking differently at people. I started looking differently at my circumstances. My circumstances didn't always change, but the way I experienced them did. God gave me greater peace, greater joy, greater freedom, and a healthier way to live and lead in ministry. That's why this podcast exists. If you've ever felt lonely, overwhelmed, discouraged, or wondered if you're the only one struggling in ministry, I want you to know you are not alone. My prayer is that every episode will offer you biblical encouragement, practical tools, and a renewed perspective so you can experience the joy, peace, and freedom God has for you. Thank you for spending these first few minutes with me and allowing me to share a little of my story. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Until next time, remember this: your calling is too important to let fear, discouragement, or unhealthy thinking define your ministry. Keep fixing your eyes on Jesus. Keep renewing your mind with His truth, and keep thriving one thought, one step, and one day at a time. Hey, friend, I hope today's episode encouraged you. If it did, would you take 30 seconds to share it with another pastor's wife or woman in ministry who could use a little biblical encouragement today? And if you haven't already, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a kind review on Apple Podcast. Your reviews help more women discover the show, and it means so much to me. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode of Thriving Pastor's Wife. Until then, keep renewing your mind, embracing your calling, and thriving in life and ministry. Bye, friend.